So you're supporting how you feel, which is usually normal because we want to support how we feel. But the one who's doing the feeling is already hurt. Their sense of self is already in protection mode. So therefore, more anger, more struggling, because it's already present. So it's like this. It's like if you're already injured, if your body's already physically injured, and you go ahead and move that injured part, there will be a reaction. You're going to be more uncomfortable, more reactive, more angry, frustrated, annoyed. But if you already aren't injured, it's not to say you still wouldn't be bothered that something is bothering you physically, because maybe you put your body in an awkward position. But rather, it could be possible that wouldn't even exist, or wouldn't even be pertinent enough to even notice it much, or even at all, because it wouldn't be that important to focus upon. It's not bothering you. Why pay attention to things that aren't bothering you? It just wouldn't exist, right? So likewise, it's like when one tries to get another to listen to them, or to stop them, or to correct them, it's usually a struggle because one's avoiding putting their heart out there, avoiding their heart being hurt, their heart being rejected. So anger occurs, and it's like a tug of war to get another to respect you. In other words, to get yourself to feel like you matter. So you could deny this. Any of this could be not denied, but it's easier to just not be bothered with any of this. Right? It's easier to not feel the possibility of being rejected, the possibility of trying to have an importance and not being denied or manipulated or not even cared for, which is terrible because then we become an enabler. An enabler is basically allowing another to be the way they are, which usually another is not being thoughtful, respectful, considerate, etc. But that other person will be angry that they're called out or that they're told. And it's like, well, it's easier to not start a fight. Or the opposite can occur, and you really try to stop them, and it's really, really like a big struggle. It becomes an argument. And it's like, all you're trying to do is, you're trying to allow yourself to be bothered, and you're trying to communicate that. Or it's just not a struggle. You just don't do it. You don't get involved. You don't put yourself out there. So these are created out of already struggling with how it feels about themselves. And it's not even realized. People aren't even noticing this. They're going to say it's because of someone else or the situation. Because usually one thinks of what they could be annoyed by or what is annoying. But they're not usually thinking of what inside them is annoyed. What about them is annoyed, as opposed to what outside them is annoying. And just like a physical injury, if you're already hurt, you take care of it. People aren't taking care of their hurt ego. They don't realize they have a hurt ego. How can you take care of something you don't realize is hurt? It's like having an injury and letting it prolong, or a disease and never noticing it exists. And then eventually, before you know it, you're in situations and you're having problems and you're not even understanding. The only reason all that existed is because you were hurt all this time. You never even attended to it. So of course that disease or that injury, that illness is going to progress. Of course. That's just the nature of how things work. Whatever it is, if it's not attended to, it's going to continue. So oneself will always be in a form of protection, will always be in a form of denial, will always be in a form of preventing and struggling and reinforcing themselves, which is really the hurt self. And if that's not noticed, well, then one just goes through life the way they are. And of course they're gonna maybe find ways and where all this works, and there's ups and downs, and then they say, well, life has ups and downs. Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily have to have the ups and downs that are actually coming from a lot of pain. It could have ups and downs, just like an injury. You get an injury. We're gonna get injured in life, physically injured. You need to realize that if you weren't physically injured or ill, then there would be no problem, right? Like, say you never injured your ankle, right? If you were to go ahead and just walk down the street or go for a jog, your ankle and your body, most likely, I'm going to say, would be fine. But if you injured your ankle even a week ago, most likely you have a chance of maybe re-injuring your ankle or making it worse or what have you. And a lot of people don't even notice they're injured. So it's like, what good is that, right? Maybe nothing ever would occur as a result. Who knows? It's a gamble. It's a risk. The idea is not noticing is the problem. Trying to notice is the solution.